Uranium friends, nuclear friends. Let's look at the enrichers, the non-uranium miner guys. Um, see what we see, plant builders and whatnot. So we'll start it off with ASPI. I just opened this chart, and I will say I can contend that there's probably another box forming, a value area box in here, right? So let me just get this. It's noisy. I know it's noisy. It sucks, but whatever. So there it is. There's your value area. 650, 662. Yeah, I want to keep it up here. 930, 950 ish. I'm going to take these fibs out for now. All right. Let me just move this box just a bit. I would say somewhere in there, right? So it's established a new value area on the way up, and if you look at the lifetime of the stock, it's exactly what it did. So, and forget about this action. You could contend that we could start building some boxes here, but let's not get crazy with the boxes. Let's just deal with what's relevant for us now. And you can contend that this box is no longer relevant for us, by the way, until it is. So I'm going to keep it because it does delineate some stuff for the lifetime of the stock. So the relevant boxes now are here. And you could actually contend that there's in the middle of this box, but let's not play that game. We have box 1 and box 2. 1, 2, 3. So box 2 still has relevance. It's really just the support, major support. And I would say if we come to the monthly, we're going to see it. Yeah. And it's a monthly pivot, right? So this is your last monthly pivot. And we can glean some stuff off of this monthly chart, by the way, even though it's strong and the fundamentals are great, and you have some real diehard followers on this name. And, from what I've seen fundamentally, potentially so, it's probably justified to have some fundamental excitement about the name. But what I will tell you is that we've got some wicks going on here. And the last time we've had the wicks, we've had a drawdown. And then you get your wicks for the buyers stepping in. The sellers are stepping in. The buyers are not as much, right? Can we see something on a weekly? Yeah, the sellers are stepping in. The buyers stepped in again at support here at the at this new value range, value area. They're stepping in again here, but the sellers are just kind of in control a bit. So there's a battle going on here. It's still a monthly uptrend. It's confirming. It's made new all-time highs without much in the way of follow-through. We know it had this financing private placement at $8. It got down there, man. It got down there and it filled this gap, right? So this is a pretty good sign for me on the fundamental side as far as absorbing that financing, which is, pretty good for me. Let's just get this level perfect. All right, so it's 835 now. That's the must hold. So look at the moving averages again. All right, this 50-day moving average along with the 50 EMA on the daily, they're holding. You have a double moving average like this holding, it's a great look. It's been a rider for that forever. Well, not forever, right? It's just a daily chart. So again, since April lows, it's been riding it. Some undercuts, not to be unexpected, right into the bottom of the box there. Still moving along. So here's a little undercut. Does it revisit this undercut and chop around a little bit like it did here? Time will tell. This lower high is set. It has lost its daily uptrend. It has not confirmed a daily downtrend. What it will need to do is this, right? You've got your low, you get your high wherever it is, you get either your higher low, and then some chop-a-rama to regain its uptrend, or where is that stupid thing again? Where am I? Or what the heck? It just does it something like this, right? So maybe it comes here and then continues on downward. We don't know. And I'm not one to tell you if I know or not. I am one to tell you that, um, as we all know, it held that $8 financing. It filled. Did it fill this gap? 834, 835. It missed it by a penny. Let's say that it filled it. Maybe it comes back to retest a little bit. Would not be surprising. But for now, that's your number. That's set. We have to get over this 12 EMA. I'm not. There's no clarity here. I mean, this is without a doubt a daily bear flag. So what happens when I don't have clarity? I zoom in. What's my chances here? Does anything change? No, because it's still getting rejected. Is this enough space to hold this low with the 4 hour? ASPI tends to whip around a little bit. It's probably a pretty good trader. It's a lower float, so that would make some sense. Is that high? Let me just mark that. So it's uh, it's no action zone for me. I think I might have taken some. I did. I think I took a partial position in here when it got over this high. On this is Thursday's high. So when it got over Thursday's high, I believe I took a small position, but I sold a lot up here. I sold in here. There's no question. Um, and this is speculative. If 835 breaks down, I'm probably going to be out of those traders. I got some cost basis shares down in here. I know it. I forget what they are offhand, but I'm down in this low 7 area on what I have called, which I call my runners. So that's the deal with ASPI. It doesn't have anything special going for it technically right now on the daily or the shorter term time frames, and it's just establishing a range here on the weekly, holding support and holding resistance. That's all it's doing, and it's kind of in the middle of the range, kind of in the middle of its value area box here, actually at the top. So uh, it's like, yeah, I took a little speculative here on this setting of the daily low here. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, and I'll be out if it doesn't hold. So that's ASPI. BWXT is an absolute monster. I hate myself because I don't play this name well, and I remember breaking Art Hyde's balls and on other stuff, and he was getting mad at me, blah blah blah. But I did say, I know you're buying down here, and he didn't say, yeah, I'm buying down here, but he gave me the smiley face, and I knew he bought down here, and good on him because what a move, BWXT. And I don't follow it enough to play it, and I should be because who doesn't love that monthly chart, right? So, and fundamentally, we just know. I mean, these guys are building for the Navy. They're getting they're going to be beneficiaries of the nuclear renaissance. There's no question in my mind. So the dips are supposed to be bought. And where are they supposed to be bought? This gold line. That's where they're supposed to be bought. Um, and I mucked it up so bad over here. I'm a complete loser. But this upper wick tells me I might have a chance again. I don't know if I'm going to get the chance down at like 89, $90, but maybe I get the chance right around 100. It makes sense that I would get that chance, right? And that is kind of what I'm looking at with BWXT, but it's great. I mean, look at the gap up. It's fading the gap. The bulls might probably going to want to defend this gap, where these moving averages are, 50-day moving average. These anchored VWAPs are way down here, so it's a long way away. So is the 200-day moving average. But for the old school guys that are been trading forever, we call them the boomer averages, right? So the 50-day moving average, well above the 200-day moving average, you're supposed to buy those 50-day moving average taps. In the simplest of forms, a stock is bullish. If it's above the 200-day moving average. A stock is bearish if it's below the 200-day moving average. These are rules that have been set for like 150 years. Who am I to fight that? But that's BWXT. It's fading. It's fading this earnings gap up, right? What's the dividend look like? Meh. So it's, what am I going to sit in a $160 stock for a 25-cent dividend? I'm not. So it's more of a trader than anything else for me. But whenever there's decimation in the name, it's obvious. I'm supposed to buy it. So you've got to keep reminding myself. Daily oversold is the place to be looking. That's the place to be looking. And hopefully the daily oversold coincides with the weekly 50 EMA and a 200-day moving average ride, because that's what this thing likes to do, right? So $120, $115 to $120, probably the buy zone on the name. That gives these moving averages a chance to reconcile. It's in full-blown weekly consolidation with follow-through at this point. One would expect that support here, 136, 137, 143, somewhere in this area. You could call it the ride here, the 12 EMA and the 50-day moving average. All right, so that's where I'm looking for Bwxt, but it always gets me somehow because I don't pay enough attention to it. Builders, enrichers. LEU, another beast of a stock. And I've been covering it forever. And, it busted. You get out of these value areas, and you come back and you retest it, and you start making a move off of that. That is like a great signal. And LEU, as I've always said, rips your face off to the upside and the downside. It's just the way it is, the float. Again, character change in volume for the life of the stock, right? Character change in volume. Going to see the same thing in Ltbr. So those things I pay attention to a lot. Character change in volume, big time. All this is doing is telling us, yes, we are right about the nuclear renaissance. The market is agreeing with us for the people that were looking at it at the renaissance down in here, right? So those people that were speculative enough, and that includes the Uranium Insider and Yellow Bull and all those guys, those people that were calling for the renaissance to come, they were right. Okay? It's that simple. And now it's really telling you, it's affirming. They were right about it here with the price action. The volume is now affirming and giving you the follow through. So it pays to pay attention to those little things. This is a big character change in the volume, right? So LEU, again, rips your face off both directions. So yeah, support here, and sets this low is set for now at support, right? So it's this is, in the technical terms, these are perfect little back tests of support, of consolidation areas. Give it the ability to cool off these RSIs. Let's see what the weekly RSI looks like, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, I mean, this is great. This is good stuff. So, and you look at the historical RSI and you want to see in the 50s, because it bounces and holds and dances around that. So more to go down here, possibly. But LEU looks fine. It's like it's got some work to do. Otherwise, it's still going to be going down. But its first attempt at holding support, it has done so. Gaparama down the way, and LEU, like I said, likes to rip off faces. Ltbr. Again, let's look. Major character change in the name, and I've been talking about this for a long time. That's a character change in the name, and this is like a 20-year base, right? Or no, I'm sorry. It's like a 5-year, 8-year base that it's finally getting out of, and this thing has been going down like forever, right? So it's a change in character in the name. It pays to pay attention. That's all I would say. I am focused on Ltbr. They have a memorandum of understanding with Oklo, and I have posted this many, many times while trading through these names. If Oklo goes, Lightbridge goes. The correlation is there. It can't be denied. And so if I were to do something like this, look, OKLO. All right, and let's just get a new price scale. Right? So ooh, that's fun to watch, right? The daily's probably going to give us a better look. Correlation. Correlation. So you could almost set your watch by this stuff at this point, especially on the daily. So if Oklo bounces and LTBR is lagging and Oklo is continuing to move, I'm relatively sure you can catch it through LTBR if you feel like you've missed Oklo. So, you know, correlations. Once they did that memorandum, right? Once they had that memorandum, wherever the heck it was, I don't even think it was down here. It might have been somewhere in here. The correlation is just, it's there. So just pay attention to it. Forget about all your fundamental handcuffs. You have your technical analysis here. This isn't even saying, oh, I predict this, I predict that. There's a correlation. And if one starts moving without the other, you could reasonably assume that the other one is going to make the move. Now, OKLO to me is more of the leader in the move than LTBR. I think LTBR follows it more now once they've done that memorandum of understanding. The reason why I say that is that OKLO is far more liquid, far better option chain, and it has many more eyes on it than LTBR does. So the savvy player who's missed the Oklo move, whether it's long or short, has a reasonable chance of being right playing the LTBR laggard. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be, correlations come and go, right? So if you find that they're starting to do something opposite, well, that correlation's not there at the moment. And maybe you might not want to be playing that game anymore. But for now, it's as clear as day. We do what works until it stops working. That's the way I'm seeing it, fellas. So back to Lightbridge. Yeah. So this is just a sideways move. It's a great move. Most of my stuff, I'm holding. I'm holding a little bit of a core, and it's down in like this 9 to 11 area. It's right in here somewhere. So that's where I am with the name. I'm looking to add to the long side on this, and it's probably a decent spot, right? And it's pretty low risk. So we have these levels, and this becomes risk tolerance for anybody and everybody, right? What level am I going to work off? Am I going to work off of the 1170? Am I going to work off of the 1250? Am I going to work off the 1290? That's up to you. What I can say, all right, so the daily is making a nice bounce and it closed above the 12 EMA. So let's just look at the 4-hour. All right, so the 4-hour needs to make a pivot. It will eventually do it, right? So even if it just grind, it's come down and give it all back, right? So we just want to see it make a higher low. And then, like I've said with anything else, I'm telling you right now, for the shorter term people who are trying to figure out the direction of the space in the short term, because the long term, the direction of the space is up. In the short term, we need to look at these 4-hour charts because they're telling the story right now. And like this is a good look for the 4-hour chart. It's making enough room that there could possibly be a higher low as a result of the next pullback. But we could have said that here and we would have been right. We could have said that here and I guess we would have been right because it's double bottom, right? But it round tripped here. We could have said it here and we were definitely right, right? So I could be saying it here. And this is a pretty good level to work off of, in my opinion. So this $12 to $13, $12.90 range area, to me, it seems like a pretty good spot to be working off of as a bull with trading shares. And that's the way I'm going to view it. And that's what I'm going to do. So the next 4-hour drawdown, which I'm going to guess, let me just look at this. The futures are still holding. What is gold doing? Yeah, we look at the 4-hour gold. You know, the gold is going through a 4-hour consolidation right now. It's a commodity, so we have to pay a little bit of attention to that. So I'm expecting some sort of 4-hour pivot to occur. If I'm to guess, I want to start looking in this 1450 to 14 range for me looking, trying to get some entries on some ads. And that's the way I'm going to be looking at it. MIR, these guys do like, well, listen, instead of me speculating, you got to follow that guy. What the heck is his name? I'm trying to figure out what his handle is. I just saw him. This guy. He's got all this stuff as far as the builders and the enrichers are concerned, and it's just a ton of information. And I would be following him. How could you not? I'm following him. So you know, you find the right guys, and they're a pleasure to have in your feed. He's absolutely one of them. Anyway, follow this guy for the light bridge and the nuclear power plant builders and all that stuff. He's the guy to be following, in my opinion. So yeah, and he covers his name. But look, these guys are doing like the radiation safety science and medicine and operate, same as ASPI, nuclear and safety. So they fit into this bill. It's not. This is just more of a little bit of a grinder, right? So it's not going to knock your socks off like CCJ does, but it doesn't mean it's doing bad either, right? So it's a worthy to follow the name in the other than uranium miner space. So this too is just drawing down, just like everything else. It's set, it's high or low here. So we just have to see what the bounce looks like. The weekly is just consolidation at the highs. And what kind of highs are they? They're all-time highs, right? So consolidation at all-time highs for this name. Be that as it may. I mean, this is what it is. Any chart that is all-time highs and consolidating at the all-time highs, cooling off its lower time frame RSI, becomes a good candidate for another run at that RSI, at that all-time high. And your pivot's at 12. That's your monthly pivot. So you're in monthly consolidation now. We don't know what it's going to look like. It's just chopping sideways. It's a tough one to touch right now, unless the Bulls are working off 1816 and the Bears are working off 2278 area. That's and it's right smack in the middle. So for me, again, middle range stuff is just I'm not interested. Just not interested. But if this one's not on your radar, probably should be. For the long-term plays, it'll be good. NNE, nanonuclear, this little guy whips you around too, right? So let me just see what the daily looks like. That's a great daily bar, right? That tells you maybe it's going to make a little bit move. We don't know that yet because it still hasn't come into resistance. But this is also NNE, so it makes these daily bars. It makes them. It makes them. It makes them. It makes them. It does that, right? This is what it does. It whips around. So really, the play is just by looking at this chart. You sit there and say, okay, when I get these big bars, do I jump on them? No. I jump on them into the consolidation after the big bars. When it makes these big bars, do I jump on them? No. I jump into the consolidation after the big bar. Same deal. It's going to be the same deal. Do I jump on these big bars? Maybe. If you're a trader, you could have gotten that one after, right? And what happened after? Well, it broke, so you should know not to be there unless you're just trying to position for a long-term play because you know something special about nanonuclear that no one else does. These guys have what? Nothing? They're speculation, right? So big bar, it's okay, comparatively speaking. Wait till after. What's the consolidation look like on these reversals, right? So you get this consolidation. Let's see what it looks like. Does it look like this? And then go? Or does it look like this and then drop? Don't know. Big bar, drop. So it broke support. It broke some pretty decent support here. And it's just back testing that support break from the underside. So you have to see it's a 12 EMA is, and the 50-day moving average is resistance. And this is also this 61.618 on the fibs. We'll talk about fibs more. I'll talk about it a lot in Discord. People are going to probably ask me a lot of questions about that, how I use it, blah, blah, blah. I will go over that, but not on these videos. We're just trying to establish some stuff. Okay, so Oklo, again, if you remember, you followed me, I made this target. It hit my target, man. It didn't hit it right away, and I didn't say it was going to. I said it's possible that it doesn't. It hit it here, right? So now you're potentially setting up for a weekly head and shoulders, right? You stare at charts long enough, and you can just see them forming before they even form, right? Left shoulder, neck, head, come back down to the neck, form a right shoulder, come back down to the neck, test, and then does it drop? We don't know. Okay. Early pattern recognition. This is not anything I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to do this. I'm saying that now, since I look at that chart right away, I can see it. I can see its potential. And I want you to be able to see that potential too. So that maybe makes you a little bit more patient, right? So if you're a nimble trader, you love this stock. You can make a ton of money on it. If you know how to play options, you love this stock. I saw some dude, Scott wants to retire guy or whatever. He decided to mute the word Oklo forever. Doesn't even want to look at it. Why? Because you don't like seeing stocks do well because yours isn't doing well? Don't have that attitude. You should have the attitude of, okay, let me start looking at it and let me start seeing if I can make money. Maybe I can offset my losses in Bannerman or in Paladin or in Lotus or Peninsula. I can offset my losses through trading Oklo. Who said you can't do that? So if you're going to be in the nuclear theme and the nuclear space, which I plan on being at least for the next 7 years, maybe longer, there's no reason not to look at anything other than uranium mining pure plays. It's just silly. You can make your money elsewhere to fund your purchases of whatever you like in the mining space. That's the nature of trading the core. So back to forget that rant. Back to this. So there's a possibility of a longer term look where we form a weekly head and shoulders. You have to be aware of that. But Oklo has the quote unquote tourist's eyes. I just would not. I mean, how do you not play this game? It's beyond me. Unless you can't handle the volatility. In that case, you just wait for like these weekly or monthly big pivots. I mean, if you just waited for this monthly pivot, and no, you're not going to catch that, but maybe you catch it here. Maybe you even catch it. Maybe you decide to buy it after it breaks over this monthly high. You made a ton of money on that. All right. So everybody's so caught up on trying to catch lows or highs. If you just let it do its thing and get above that month's high, you made 200% on the money. Now, granted, you're not going to catch this top either. So maybe you made 100%. Big deal. You made a great trade and you made money. Sam Altman's behind this thing. There's going to be, he's got, regardless of what you think of the guy, it's going to be something that you should be constantly paying attention to the name. It's just that simple. It's doing a great job of cooling off. It's still holding its trend for the long term. This is the spot where it should logically bounce. The moving averages are coming down to reconcile and to bunch up again. It's exactly what you want for a longer term play. It's exactly what you want. We just want this stuff to hold as support. So Oklo looks great. But it still needs some time to develop this moving average play, right? So um, trade it, invest in it, whatever you want to do. But do not discount it. Do not mute the name Oklo forever. It's just dumb. Literally. On to the next one. SMR, right? Weaker than Oklo, much different look. It's, strangely enough, because these are the guys that literally have the only U.S. government approval for um, their design. So, fundamentally, this should be the better one, but it's not. Why? Why? Try to find the answers to that. Why is this one, which is fundamentally better than Oklo, why is this one not performing as well? Is the answer in uh, the Sam Oklo shine? Is it in the generalist that is moving into the nuclear space? Is that the answer? They don't know, and they don't know that NuScale is the one right now. Um, the fact of the matter is that people will bet on Sam Altman on getting approvals, and they are probably right in the longer term. That doesn't mean that the chart is going to say, yeah, you're right. But right now it's saying, yeah, Oklo is better than SMR right now. Doesn't mean it's going to. And by the way, again, it's the same deal. Like you can do something like this. You can run your ratio charts and know, right? So since July 15th, Oklo has been stronger than SMR. The question is, you start to come into support on this weekly ratio chart of these two. Right, here's SMR is getting its little bounce on against Oklo in strength. We're coming into support, right? So maybe SMR is going to slightly outperform Oklo for a little while. You don't know. No idea, but these ratios can help you in that regard. Just look at the daily. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a bounce going on, right? So does SMR start to take over? Here's your little bit of a bounce. What did SMR do? Well, it took over for a while, went sideways. Maybe it's going to do it here. I don't know. I'm not in the business of trying to make those predictions. So again, we're on the weekly. We're on a weekly stair step down, which means lower highs and lower lows every week, stair stepping down. First week, this week, where it's actually showed some buyers stepping in this little support area, right? So can you say the low is in? No, you can't, right? But you can say there's a little bit of progress here. Again, when I want to say, all right, is there anything different? No, there's not. I guess the slight difference is this thing has been riding the yellow line, which is 5 EMA, all the way down. It's closed over it finally for the first time since, yeah, you got to say this because that's the close, since July 30th. So for a month, it's been basically riding it down, 3 weeks. Starting to see a little bit of a turn. Now, is this anything to speak of? I don't know. So what am I doing? 4-hour chart. Okay. Now what's happened? Okay. So this is why we do this, right? This is why I zoom in when I don't have clarity. You have now a 4-hour uptrend confirmed. No follow through, right? What does that mean? Low, high, higher low, higher high, no follow through. Okay? So the chart is starting to turn on the short-term time frame, right? So now, just by doing this video, because I haven't looked at this SMR chart in a while, just by doing this video, now I'm interested in a long position in SMR because I have two levels of support to work off of that are low risk. I have this 3261 and 3060. So I have some support levels to work off of that could tell me I'm wrong, you know? So 4-hour chart is turning. So the early bird on this play is looking right now, right here. And the aggressive bulls are working off these two levels. Simple as that. Just look at did I pull up an Oklo 4-hour? Did Oklo do the same thing? Yeah, it did. So Oklo has the 4-hour trend change as well. What does NNE have it? No. Well, yeah, no. Okay. But NNE is just being a laggard to those two names. So Oklo's got the 4-hour trend change. SMR has the 4-hour trend change. Does ASPI have it? I might have gone over this in the chart anyway. It does, right? So low, high. It's very dinky. Higher low, higher high. Many technical analysts will call this all one move. So it's not as clear. So back to SMR. I know this is again a long video. This is crazy, but I'm doing it, and whatever. I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to watch. But there's the change, right? So early bird might get the worm here. All right. So over and out. 4-hour trend changes, 4-hour charts across the board. Doesn't even have to be in the nuclear builder space. The entire sector, miners, builders, servicers, 4-hour charts are your friend. Devil over and out.